Hello dear students, so today we will start with the new chapter, chapter number 11, Paths of Modernization. To start up with the chapter, first we will go into the introduction of the chapter. We will basically emphasize on the modernization that took place in Japan as well as in China. So today we will start with the modernization and the introduction of Japan. So Japan as a country in the initial stages was a very poor in natural resources. You will be very surprised to know that Japan doesn't have any sort of natural resources. And then there might be a question in your mind that if it is so, that how come Japan has established itself as a developed country? You know, Japan considered each and every human as a resource. So whatever is the population of Japan, though that the entire population of Japan is treated as the human resource. And Japan is another country which is not at all suitable for agriculture. We know that the rice is a staple crop and fish is the main source of protein for the people of Japan. So therefore, Japan needed minerals and raw materials, for example, tin, raw cotton, to develop and feed its growing industries. Now, in contrast to this, her neighboring countries, for example, China, presented not only a marked physical contrast, but was also rich in resources, which was lacking in Japan. And its unstable political condition offered opportunities of expansion of war. We know that, Japan from the very beginning involved, in depthly with the World War I, later on World War II. So the demand for Japanese manufactured goods after industrialization, what happened? The markets got flooded up with the Japanese goods and were limited because of the poverty of most of the Japanese. So like the other industrialized power, for example, Britain, Japan also needed markets for its finished product because Japan was constantly in competition with the European countries. So when industrialization happened in Europe, Japan followed that. And as we know that after industrialization, in the previous chapter we read that the colonization took place and European countries, they started seeking markets in the other part of the world like Africa, Australia and Asian countries. Similarly, Japan also following the path of Britain wanted the market for its finished goods. Now the state was controlled by oligarchy and repressive apparatus of army clamored for an aggressive foreign policy. Japan also believed in, always believed in wars, and the policy of Japan was very, very aggressive right from the beginning to acquire more territory. So by the year 1890s, Japan started pursuing her colonial ambitions primarily at the expense of China. How? As she industrialized, the object of Japanese ambitions was entire Asia and the Pacific region. Here I want to give you one example also. Like in the year 1894, Japan went to war with China and defeated China in the year 1895. She annexed Formosa, which is Taiwan, that time in the year 19, and then later in 1910 also, annexed Korea. From the year 1904 to 1905, after the Russo-Japanese War, that is the war between Russia and Japan, which got ended with the defeat of Russia, Southern Manchuria was reorganized as Japanese, which was called Sphere of Influence. I repeat, Sphere of Influence. And she also obtained half of the Sakhalin Island and acquired control of Laotung Peninsula. Later on in the year 1902, by entering into the alliance with England, Anglo-Japanese Treaty was signed. Okay, so England and Japan came to a treaty by shaking hands with each other. Japan became the first Asian country to enjoy the status of full equality with other colonial powers. Now here when we say colonial powers, we mean all the European countries. Japanese industries expanded rapidly during the First World War because of the trading boom of the war years. We know that how Japan got involved in First World War. The size of the factories increased almost from 100 of the workers, it jumped up to 1,000 to 2,000 workers by the year 1930. However, the boom lasted only until the middle of 1921. What happened after that? When Europe began to revive and recover its lost market. So the Japan unemployment started, there was industrial unrest developed, and basically, if you can recall when you were in class 9, you studied about the Great Depression, which followed after First World War. So the same time, peasants were hit by rapidly falling price of rice because of the bumper harvest and the world economic crisis. As I said, the entire world economic crisis right from 1929 to 1932 worsened the situation of Japan. Thus, when Chinese tried to squeeze out Japan trade and businesses from Manchuria in the year 1931, the Japanese, to preserve their economic advantages, invaded and occupied Manchuria, which year it was September 1931. And then it was largely to safeguard and expand her economic interest in the Pacific Ocean. If you can recall that during Second World War, Japan did a blunder. It is termed as a blunder because it tried to, there was a bombing, aerial bombing, which was done by Japan on the US base, which was placed on the Pacific Ocean. The place is called Pearl Harbor. So Pearl Harbor bombing was done, which finally resulted in the humiliating defeat of Japan by the Allied forces, because after this Pearl Harbor bombing only, the Allied forces, specifically US, America got very, very agitated, and in return to take the revenge of Pearl Harbor bombing, America went for atomic bombing on Hiroshima and Nagasaki, which totally devastated and shattered Japan. And with this, the Allied forces, they were able to achieve, or the World War II was won by them, and it came to an end. So just as industrialization in Europe countries led to colonialism and imperialism, similarly in Japan, industrialization led to wars with her neighbors. Why? Because Japan got involved into wars. And moreover, rapid and unregulated growth of industry and demand for natural resources, for example timber, led to environment destruction. Not only that, because of these bombing, there were a lot of more destructions. There were increasing evidence of cadmium and mercury poisoning and air pollution leading to health problems. So that industrialization led to environmental degradation, was further reflected in the growth of civil society movements, even on the government and on the legal regulations. So this way Japan, right from the beginning, Japan had a very kind of a preservative kind of a family structure. Japan had old patriarchal household system which was comprised of many generations living together under the control of the head of the house, which was always a male. And then later on, when the new ideas with the industrialization came, they were replaced by new ideas of the family. So as more people became affluent, a nuclear family where the husband-wife lived as breadwinner and the homemaker became a norm. And with this, industrialization, many things in Japan, social structure, household structure got changed. For example, a new concept of domesticity generated demands for new types of domestic goods. Very surprising. Rice cooker, American grill, these took place in the Japanese household. Women had more time for leisure. For example, they started reading. The new middle class families sought more forms of travel by electric trams and new modes of family entertainment. Example, Jinbura. Jinbura is kind of an aimless walking in the public parks. Then they were even taken off by radios and movies. Ideas of gender equality led to women seeking employment in novel spheres. Example, we can take the example of Matsui Sumaka, who became an actress, very famous actress. So there was increasing demand for new forms of housing, so much so that in 1920s the construction companies made cheap housing available for the down payment of only 200 yen. And the balance on monthly installments of 12 yen for 10 years. So this kind of installment facilities were developed in Japan because of the industrialization. So with this, we have come to know about the initial setup of Japan. We will be continuing with China and the comparison in our later classes. Thank you so much, children. God bless you all.